locomotives on the ground, containers on their sides, and debris everywhere. This was the scene after a Norfolk Southern freight train plowed into a truck in Duluth, Georgia. It happened on the morning of June 17, 2020. A tractor-trailer somehow got stuck on this grade crossing. The train couldn't stop in time. It derailed after the impact. Firefighters got to the scene just after 9:30. This is what they found. A dramatic picture, courtesy of the Gwinnett County Fire Department, shows the leading locomotive. It bore the brunt of the collision. Another shot shows firefighters moving in with a ladder. According to fire officials, the train crew and the truck driver all escaped with minor injuries. Another person, who was trying to help moments after the accident, also sustained a minor injury. According to firefighters, they found at least 20 rail cars derailed when they arrived, and they say they found fuel leaking from one of the locomotives, but it was isolated to the railroad right-of-way. Fire officials say 10 of the train's cars were carrying hazardous materials. 2 of those cars derailed, but no leaks were found. It's hard to say what every one of these containers was carrying, but in one of the pictures taken by Gwinnett Fire, you can clearly see Gatorade bottles all over the ground. After the fire department finished its work, the railroad moved in. R.J. Corman, famous for handling situations like this, was on the scene re-railing the rolling stock. You can see their massive side boom tractors in action. Meanwhile, Holden Contracting worked on the right-of-way. Tractor trailers stacked high with prefabricated track eventually began to arrive, and a long line of dump trucks were on site with loads of ballast. There's no doubt this accident got a lot of people's attention. Spectators lined the sidewalk, traffic backed up on Buford Highway, and a news crew was there to report live. Ironically, all this played out right next to the Southeastern Railway Museum, a place well known to railroad enthusiasts. From the air, you can see just how big the scene was. The locomotive up front, NS 1832, a recently rebuilt SD70ACC, came to a stop about 300 yards from the crossing where the collision happened. The engines behind it also derailed, and some of these well cars and the containers they were carrying are nothing more than twisted metal now. Definitely a big job for the crews on the ground. This footage was shot about 8 hours after the crash. The cleanup would likely go on into the night and the next day. In the end, this is a lesson in railroad crossing safety, an example of just how powerful trains are, and a stroke of good luck that no one was seriously hurt.